you will fail. Yeah, that's right, you. This isn't clickbait or some kind of gimmick. It's just a cold hard truth. But luckily for you and for me, that's only part of the story. Failure may be the biggest taboo of today's world. We've all learned to hide our failures behind the highlights of our social media posts and what we choose to share with the world. But the more I go along on this journey, I find more and more that failure might be our most valuable asset. But at the very least, it's something that we should embrace rather than try to find an escape from. But is it possible to succeed without fearing failure? Doesn't a recognition of the worst case scenario and an active effort to avoid it lead you to what you're wanting? You guys have probably all heard the skiing metaphor before, but for those of you who haven't, downhill skiers are not taught to avoid the trees, but they're taught to follow the path. But let's take that one step further, because that's so much easier said than done. In my life recently, I feel like I've been hitting tree after tree after tree, even though I know that I should be following the path. So what do you do then? What happens when you mess up? What happens when what's up here doesn't translate to the outside? Is it a failure? Or are we looking at this thing totally wrong? Walking, talking, riding a bike, these are all things that are second nature to us now, but they all began with us saying the wrong words, scraping our knees, falling off the bike, and falling on our faces, trying to take our first steps. Are those failures or just the necessary steps to get to the desired result? Is the thing you're pursuing right now really so different? Is it really any more impossible than riding a bike seemed? I think if we're all honest with ourselves, the answer to that question is a resounding no. And if we can continue to remind ourselves of that fact and shift our mindsets to understanding that what the world calls failure is actually just the first step to greatness, then the fear of failing will lose any power it has over us. And we can just focus on following that path to wherever it is where we want to be. Because when all is said and done, the main reason we celebrate our successes is because we remember all of the obstacles we had to overcome to get to that point. So fail until you succeed, and then go find something else to fail at. I'll see you guys soon.